is where MAGA comes to talk. Okay, so RFK Jr. just turning the Democrats' world upside down, making Kamala Harris and the Tim Walz campaign even more irrelevant than it was by their own doing. I mean, this is just a beautiful thing. And, you know, he's leading a new walk-away movement. And not only is he leading a new walk-away movement, he is leading. Not only is he leading a new he's leading a walk-away movement, RFK Jr. that is of will be of prominent Democrats, Democrats that are big donors, and others that lifelong big-time Democrats that you never would have imagined would leave the Democrat Party. And I'll play a clip here in a bit of RFK Jr. talking about this, but you know, it's what I've been talking about throughout the weekend. The Democrat Party has been taken over by radical anti-American lunatics that are burning American flags, that are doing just terrible things. And these old school Democrats like Robert Kennedy are trying to take back their party. Now, this does not mean that Robert Kennedy Jr. and these Democrats that he's bringing over to the MAGA movement that are going to be campaigning with Trump and going to rallies are all of a sudden Republicans, that they're conservatives. They're not. They're still Democrats. They haven't been red-pilled. They still have a lot of Democrat beliefs and very strong Democrat positions that we disagree with, okay? However, we agree that the United States is the greatest country in the world, that we have a southern border, we have a northern border, that these wars are military-industrial complex schemes. You know the whole story. We agree on the big picture. So once we unite with these RFK Jr. Democrats with Trump and the MAGA movement, and when, then they're going to make a move to take back their own party. And we'll debate the big issues and disagree, but we've got to save our country. And I saw a lot of people say, do you trust Robert Kennedy? Do you trust? This is what I know. Donald Trump trusts him, and I trust Donald Trump. And I told you guys over a year ago that, you know, this campaign is unlike any campaign we've ever seen. I mean, this is the big one. This is the campaign that's going to decide whether or not our country survives, right? And I said that Donald Trump is going to make alliances. He's going to bring people into the fold that I might not like, that you might not like, and maybe he doesn't even like. But he's a businessman, the art of the deal. He's now transferred to the art of the political deal, and he knows how to bring people together to accomplish a common goal. And his goal, Trump's goal is, of course, to win the presidential election, but a bigger picture is to drain the swamp, right? Rid us of the poison of the deep state, shut down our southern border, and have mass deportations. And Robert Kennedy Jr. agrees with us on those things, especially shutting down the deep state and draining the swamp. Okay? Again, he's still a Democrat. He supports all those left-wing ideas of, you know, but he agrees with us on the big picture. And if Trump trusts someone, if Trump brings someone in the fold, we got to trust Trump and follow Trump's lead, right? You guys, I mean, isn't that your rule of thumb? If you're MAGA, you got to trust Trump no matter what he does. He always knows more about what's going on than we'll ever know, right? Exactly. Exactly. No, this is a great thing. And, you know, when Brandon Straka started the walk away movement, look how important that was. Look at how many people came over. You know, and when Robert Kennedy was at the rally on Friday, to have a Kennedy at a Republican presidential campaign rally, who would have ever thought something like that would happen, right? Who would have thought something like that would have happened? And it did. And, that standing ovation that all the MAGA people gave Bobby Kennedy Jr. out of respect for him and his dad and his uncle was absolutely amazing. And I think he was probably shocked at how much Republicans stood up and supported him. It was pretty amazing. They all behaved perfectly. And he went on this morning. He was on Fox News Sunday. This is Bobby Kennedy on Fox News Sunday this morning. Oh, hold on. Let me turn the volume up. Hold on.
Wall Street Journal has this. They say it's a double-edged sword, essentially, that it may help President Trump to pick up some of your followers if they're willing to go over there. But they warn about what you would do in his administration. They say this: RFK Jr., if he's anywhere near the healthcare or environmental agencies in a Trump administration, look out. Mr. Trump's best response is to thank RFK Jr. for his support, make no promises about the future, and by all means avoid joint campaign appearances. You've already had one. Will you have others? Will you campaign for president?
Yeah, I'm going to be campaigning actively. I think President Trump is going to make a series of announcements about other Democrats who are joining his campaign. And I want to make America healthy again, and so does President Trump. So those are objectives. The Wall Street Journal may be worried about shareholder value for pharmaceutical companies, and I think, I talked specifically to President Trump about that issue, and he said that he wanted to leave as his legacy healthy children, and that, that he was unconcerned about the other implications.
Yeah, so he says there's going to be other announcements, a whole series of them made by President Trump, and other Democrats will be joining the campaign. That is absolutely amazing. And RFK Jr., he's got two things at the top of his list: this Make America Healthy Again, but also getting to the bottom of the assassination of his uncle. And there's a new story today in the Daily Mail. CIA officials helped Lee Harvey Oswald assassinate John F. Kennedy, a CIA expert says when asked to predict the secrets of the still classified documents. And we've all believed for a long time that our government, killed Kennedy, and probably Bobby too. And that will go so far to draining the swamp. When those documents come out unredacted, and we find out what happened with President Kennedy and his assassination, everything the government knows, right? And the cover-up for the many years after. President Ford was a part of that cover-up, right? A lot of people were. That will go so far to draining the swamp. And what we're going to find is the same people, the same organizations that were behind that are the same organizations that have been after Donald Trump all these years since he came down the escalator. And Robert Kennedy Jr., we're never going to agree. It's different. Janie says we already know. There's a difference between knowing and having documented evidence that proves it, right? People say, oh, well, we already know this. Well, I'm so glad you're all knowing, all of you. Having evidence that is documented, that proves our suspicions, that's amazing. Okay? That changes everything. You got to have evidence, not just know. You got to have the proof, right? And then when we're done with all of that, Robert Kennedy and his Democrats will go back to all their Democrat ways and their Democrat positions. But these lunatics that were at the Democrat National Convention this week, these are not American-minded people, right? They're not. They do not have the best interest of this country in their hearts or minds. And that's just the way it is. Of course they're in a panic. The Kamala Harris campaign is in a panic. In a complete panic, because they're all going to be out of work soon. It's over. I played audio earlier today from, was it MSNBC or CNN, one or the other, on this morning's live stream that showed that Kamala Harris's internal polls show that she's not in a good position. It leaked out of her campaign. So, believe me, they are in a panic. Now, if you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. All right, my name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. And all of you that are subbed, please like the video because that helps grow the community. Now, J.D. Vance, who is the political apprentice, right now he's the favorite to be the second MAGA president in 2028. 4 years from now, he will be the nominee, unless he screws up or something. I got a sneeze coming on, guys. Hold on. Oh, boy, oh, boy. That was a rough one. Oh. Came out of nowhere. Boy, oh, boy. Thank you for the bless yous in advance. So, thank you for the bless yous. Thank you. So, J.D. Vance, he does these interviews. He is amazing in these interviews. These very confrontational interviews that he does. He is, no matter what interview he does with these liberal jerks, he always fillets them. Thank you for the bless yous, everyone. And this is a good warm-up to the October 1st debate with this Chinese asset, Tim Walz, who's going to get his clock cleaned by J.D. Vance. It is going to be a great vice presidential debate. I can't wait for it. So he went on with Kristen Welker on Meet the Press today. And, you know, she's not a reporter. Kristen Welker, when Obama was president, Kristen Welker and her parents spent Christmas Eve night, overnight, in the White House and woke up the next morning and celebrated Christmas with Barack and Michelle Obama and their family. And the girls were little then. So she is very well connected in the Democrat Party. And for her to pass herself off as a reporter is insane to me. But Kristen Welker, she had J.D. Vance on again this weekend, and he cleaned her clock again. Listen.
Let's talk about another big issue. It was talked about at the Democratic National Convention. It's being talked about on the campaign trail. Abortion. Democrats made the case this week and beyond this week that Donald Trump, if elected, will impose a federal ban on abortion if he wins. Now, Donald Trump says he won't. But can you commit, Senator, sitting right here with me today, that if you and Donald Trump are elected, that you will not impose a federal ban on abortion?
I can absolutely commit that, Kristen, and Donald Trump has been as clear about that as possible. I think it's important to step back and say, what has Donald Trump actually said on the abortion question, and how is it different from what Kamala Harris and the Democrats have said? Donald Trump wants to end this culture war over this particular topic. If California wants to have a different abortion policy from Ohio, then Ohio has to respect California and California has to respect Ohio. Donald Trump's view is that we want the individual states and their individual cultures and their unique political sensibilities to make these decisions because we don't want to have a nonstop federal conflict over this issue. The federal government ought to be focused on getting food prices down, getting housing prices down.
That's right.
Issues, of course, where Kamala Harris has been a total disaster. So I think Donald Trump is right. We want the federal government to focus on these big economic and immigration questions. Let the states figure out their own abortion policy.
Let me just follow up with you a little bit on that point, because I've been talking to Republicans, including Senator Lindsey Graham just last week, who've made it very clear that if Donald Trump is elected, if you are elected, they will continue to press this point. Senator Graham said to me, I'm going to keep saying that there should be a federal ban. If such a piece of legislation landed on Donald Trump's desk, would he veto it?
Well, I think it'd be very clear he would not support it. I mean, he said that explicitly. Yeah, I mean, if you're not supporting it as the President of the United States, you fundamentally have to veto it.
So he would veto a federal abortion ban?
I think he would. He said that explicitly that he would. And
I don't think he's ever said explicitly he would. He said that to you?
Lindsey Graham, Kristen, I would be surprised. I mean, again, I need to see the context on what Lindsey Graham said, because Lindsey Graham himself has not advocated a federal abortion ban. Lindsey Graham has advocated a federal minimum standard. Now, to be clear, that is not Donald Trump's view. Donald Trump disagrees with Lindsey Graham on this, but no Republican, at least no Republican with any reasonable power, is saying that we should have a complete national abortion ban. I haven't heard that from any of my colleagues. And to be clear, Donald Trump, I think, has staked his position and made it very explicit. He wants this to be a state decision. States are going to make this determination themselves.
All right.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. You know, the Republican Party position, you see, these Democrats, they got nowhere to go. Didn't J.D. Vance, didn't he do a great job there? You know, the Republican Party position, even before Trump, was always to overturn Roe v. Wade. And we used to talk about that all the time because Democrats would always say, oh, you know, if you overturn Roe v. Wade, abortions will be illegal. Roe v. Wade's been overturned for how long now? Are they illegal? No. The Republicans have always said, that, and as long as that's been part of the party platform, long before Trump came down the escalator, that the party position, the Republican Party position, was overturn Roe v. Wade and let the states decide. Let the states decide. And, you know, when President Trump did the Spaces conversation a couple weeks back with Elon Musk, they were talking about this, right? They were talking about education as well as Roe v. Wade. And what will happen is the states are making changes on everything. And then what will happen, the states will attract like-minded people to them. If you're a liberal wackadoodle who doesn't like Florida's law, I'm in Florida, beautiful Florida. If you don't like our laws involving education and abortion and all that, you'll move to California. If you don't like the curriculum in our schools in Florida, you'll move to New York or whatever state has the curriculum you like, you know. And I think we'll be a happier country that way, right? Don't you agree with that? I mean, come on. And in this day and age, okay, say you're in a state like Florida or Georgia, and there's a strict restriction on abortion. It's not like you're not going to be able to get it. You can, for very cheap, you can fly to some state. So I don't understand what their big deal is. But, you know, it's what the great Rush Limbaugh used to say, the late, great Rush Limbaugh. Rush Limbaugh used to always say the Democrats have one playbook. Every election, they pull out that old, worn-out playbook, and abortion bans, if you vote for Republicans, abortions will be illegal. There'll be a federal ban. That's one of their old plays. And Donald Trump has not said that at all. And that's you know. And if Donald Trump he is running such a not just a brilliant campaign, but a campaign that is so different than his other two presidential campaigns. And he's really taken the wind out of the sails for all these different attacks that they make, like this one here on a federal ban on abortion. Who cares what Lindsey Graham says? They're you know, Trump's the boss. J.D. Vance is number 2. They say no federal abortion ban, there'll be no federal abortion ban. And that's it. So Kristen Welker, they can go around and talk about all their make-believe things like that, and what is it? That other thing that they're always Project 2025 and nonsense thing has nothing to do with Trump. They've got all these fantasies, right? Exactly. I played this at the beginning. I'll play it again because I have it here. This is Bobby Kennedy Jr. on Fox News Sunday today.
I think President Trump is going to make a series of announcements about other Democrats who are joining his campaign, and you know, I want to make America healthy again, and so does President Trump. So
yeah, so there's going to be other Democrats joining the campaign. That's a good thing. Again, it's not going to make Trump liberal, and it's not going to make them conservative, but we agree on bringing down the deep state and stopping these agitators that have opened up our southern border and are destroying our country and are part of this organized invasion of our country, right? I mean, this is amazing, really. Let me see. Here's the rocket scientist brain surgeon Kamala Harris.
We're in the middle of a crisis caused by this pandemic that is a public health crisis. We're looking at over 220 million Americans who just in the last several months died.
220 million Americans died. Really? Wow. Seems pretty crowded to have lost 220 million. She is an idiot.
And electric.
She's just stupid. She's just a stupid person. She's, you know, a lot of these politicians at her level are spokesmodels, but she's not even that. She is a very poor example of a spokesmodel. Here's another clip of Kamala.
When we invest in clean energy and electric vehicles and reduce population, more of our children can breathe clean air and drink clean water.
Reduce our population? How does she plan on doing that? How does Kamala Harris envision reducing our population? And what children will we have if we're reducing the population? Who talks that way? Why would you want to reduce the population? Is the country crowded? I've got a wide open backyard here. It's all green. When you see these stranded astronauts, these Boeing astronauts up on the space station, they show the Earth. Does it look like Coruscant from Star Wars Phantom Menace? No, it's all green. We have plenty of space. We do not have too many people. It's crowded if you're in these big liberal cities. It's not crowded outside of these big cities. These people have lost their freaking minds. This is Cory Booker, and he was on with Fake Tapper on CNN.
And what I know this election can do is finally kill that strain of the Republican Party in a way that I think helps the pragmatic Republicans come back.
He wants to kill, what, MAGA people? Does he mean physically do it? You know, the MAGA movement is going to be here forever. And what's happened is the Republican establishment, which is now gone, the Republican establishment is now the MAGA Republicans, and we are now the establishment. Yeah, there's only 133 people left in the country. What was the population during the Civil War? Let me look. Let's see. 31, okay. U.S. population in 1940. Okay, so she believes that we have Kamala Harris, since 220 million Americans have died, that the U.S. population is currently what it was in 1940. Her voice is worse than RFK's. I would agree with that. At least he's got an excuse. He's got a condition, RFK. Yeah, well, she's reached the glass ceiling. You know, this is Fredo Cuomo, Chris Cuomo's show on News Nation, talking about RFK, and Robert Kennedy Jr. actually tweeted this.
Well, I think there's a tremendous upside. I think it's tangible and substantial. Tony Fabrizio, who is a pollster that I've known and worked with for a long time, is the lead pollster for the internal Trump polls, released a memo today going through the 7 battleground states that a lot of people have focused on, talking about North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, Nevada, Arizona, and Georgia. And in every single one of those 7 battleground states, all of these RFK voters, RFK Jr. voters, break towards Trump. Some of them, Trump is getting 2/3 of the RFK voters. And
okay, now I got the breakdown here, so listen to this. This is a poll done in Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, and North Carolina, battleground states, okay? It is only on RFK Jr. voters. They only polled RFK Jr. voters. Who are you going for, Trump or Kamala? So again, this is only RFK voters. Are you going to be voting for Trump or Kamala now? In Arizona, 53% of RFK voters say they're going to vote for Trump. 28% Kamala. The rest, I guess they're going to vote for someone else or no one at all. In Georgia, 47% of RFK voters say they are going to vote for President Trump. 34% say Kamala. In Michigan, 43% of RFK voters in Michigan are going to vote Trump. 41% Kamala. And this is before the walk away starts happening that RFK was talking about. In North Carolina, 58% of RFK voters are going to vote for Trump. 58%. 22% Kamala. That's massive. That is massive.
Well, I think there's a tremendous upside. I think it's tangible and substantial. Tony Fabrizio, who's a pollster that I've known and worked with for a long time, is the lead pollster for the internal Trump polls, released a memo today going through the 7 battleground states that a lot of people have focused on, talking about North Carolina and Pennsylvania and Michigan and Wisconsin, Nevada, Arizona, and Georgia. And in every single one of those 7 battleground states, all of these RFK voters, RFK Jr. voters, break towards Trump. Some of them, Trump is getting 2/3 of the RFK voters, and he's getting about 4%, 3% in these states. And in a state like Pennsylvania, where it could well come down to, tens of thousands of votes, a half a point or 3/4 of a point, that may well make the difference in who the next president is. A lot of people have said that Pennsylvania is going to be the key for Kamala Harris. Democrats cannot win the presidency without Pennsylvania. That is the conventional wisdom. If RFK Jr. makes the difference in other states and Pennsylvania, it really could spell the difference in this campaign. This should be taken seriously. This is a big day in the campaign. And let me tell you, Kamala Harris did not want this to happen on the first day after her convention. She wanted to come out of there riding high. This has completely and totally changed the subject. And now we're back playing on Trump's turf again.
Yeah. See, yeah, that's exactly right. So RFK has helped a lot. And, it's interesting thing because there's been this, by the way, if you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe, okay? My name is Brian, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. And those of you who already subscribed to the channel, please like the video. There's been this talk going on for a long time of how many voters RFK was taking from Trump. And I don't know if that's true or not, even still today. I lean towards no. But a lot of these are libertarian people. A lot of them are Democrats. But he's definitely having a major impact of bringing a lot of people to the Trump train we did not have before. And this is amazing. It's absolutely amazing that this is happening. I mean, I just... I don't think I'm alone in this. When Robert Kennedy Jr. walked out on stage at the Trump rally on Friday night, wasn't it kind of weird to see? I never thought I'd see a Kennedy at a MAGA rally like that. And his low-life family that are going after him. It's pretty disgusting. It's pretty disgusting. And, of course, President Trump has returned to X, returned to Twitter, and the mean tweets are back. So let's see what we got going on today. President Trump, he just tweeted this 2 minutes ago. I'm so glad he's back, right? Mean tweet. Don't you love mean tweets? I love mean tweets. He just posted this on X 2 minutes ago. If you think things are expensive now, they will get 100 times worse if Kamala gets 4 years as your president. Under her plan, Kamala will implement Soviet-style price controls. True, right? Wants to nationalize grocery stores and the food industry. She will abolish private health care and make California's ridiculous tax policies the law of the land, meaning every American will be taxed up to 80% of their income. If you want more cash and less tax, vote Trump. Yeah, that was just 2 minutes ago, I tell you. I'm so glad he's back. And I'm going to go through his tweets for today. 46 minutes ago, Comrade Kamala will obliterate Social Security and Medicare by giving it away to millions of illegal immigrants who are infiltrating our country. That is true. How can you disagree? They're giving them free health care now, right? Oh. His next tweet, this is President Trump. He's back on X. The mean tweets are here. There will be no future under Comrade Kamala Harris because she will take us into nuclear World War III. She will never be respected by the tyrants of the world. That is true. He's talking about Russia and Ukraine. I don't think Zelensky would mind World War III, a nuclear conflict. He's got his money coming in. Robert, $20 super chat. Thank you. Congratulations on 80,000 subs. We just hit 80,000. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Oh, man, how exciting. Thank you, thank you. I was going to wait till after the stream to check. Oh, my goodness. We just broke 80,000 subscribers to the channel. Thank you, everyone, for your support of the channel. That looks good. It's a nice-looking number. Thank you. And Robert, thank you for the super chat, the $20 super chat. Thank you. Oh my goodness, thank you. If you are new to my channel, subscribe. And of course, if you're subbed, like the video. All right, I appreciate that. Wow, that's absolutely amazing. That's amazing. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate that. All right, let's get back to the mean tweets that we miss. Let's see here. Comrade, I'll read this one over again. Comrade Kamala will obliterate Social Security and Medicare by giving it away to the millions of illegal immigrants who are infiltrating our country. You know, I do not have health insurance. I am self-insured. New Zealand, welcome. If I go to the hospital, if I go to the doctor, I pay for it out of pocket. You know, that's it. Right? And these people that are here illegally, not only do they have full health insurance coverage, their entire family have free health insurance. And, I mean, think about it. You know, how much do you spend for your kids' health insurance? It's a lot of money, isn't it? How many of you are suffering in a job you can't stand because it gives you, your wife, and your kids health insurance? A lot of people. Or maybe you're paying for it out of your own pocket. It's a big expense, right? But the illegals, they don't work, and free health insurance for the whole family. Yeah, must be nice. The next mean tweet, I miss the mean tweets. I hope he is this active every day forever. There will be no future under Comrade Kamala Harris because she will take us into nuclear World War III. She'll never be respected by the tyrants of the world. Yeah, I read that one too. I got sidetracked with the celebration there. What's going on right now in Europe with Ukraine and Russia is incredibly dangerous. And what's dangerous about it is, how long has this fake war been going on there? Been going on a long time. Why has there not been a single peace summit with Putin and Biden, right? You know, when I was a kid growing up, they always talked about that red phone in the White House where it was in the Oval Office and the president had a direct line to the Kremlin. Does that line still work? And the reality is that Zelensky and the Democrats don't want the war to stop because they're getting rich off of it. All of them are raking in boatloads of money off of this war with Russia, and they'd like to prolong it, like the war in Afghanistan that went on for 20 years. They would like this one to go on and escalate. And Zelensky himself has no interest in ending this war. He has suspended elections. Zelensky, his term is up, and he's declared martial law. He doesn't want this over. He'll be out. Have to get it. The money stops coming in, and he'll lose his job. All right, back to President Trump's tweets. These are just tweets from today. Kamala and her handlers are trying to make it sound like I am the incumbent president so that they can blame me for the failure of the past 4 years. No, it was their failure. It is one of the worst presidencies in history, and she is definitely the worst vice president. No doubt about that. She is an incumbent. She's not running like an incumbent, but she most definitely is. Okay, 3 hours ago, President Trump posted this. November 5th will be the most important day in the history of America. That's right. Trump will be back for his second and non-consecutive term. And 4 hours ago, this was his first tweet of today. This was at 11:57 a.m. here, Eastern Time. Who is negotiating for us in the Middle East? Bombs are dropping all over the place. Sleepy Joe is sleeping on a beach in California, viciously exiled by the Democrats. And Comrade Kamala is doing a campaign bus tour with Tampon Tim, her really bad VP pick. Let's not have World War III, because that's where we're heading. He posted that 3 minutes before noon here on the East Coast, President Trump today. It has 10.5 million views. I mean, he's really just, he's got Twitter going, X going, whatever you want to call it, and I'm glad. I've wanted him back on there for a long time because that's, X is where the news is. Thank the Lord that Elon Musk bought Twitter and turned it into X. Could you imagine? All this stuff that we're talking about right now would not be allowed. All this Tim Walz stuff, all these things we're talking about with Kamala, the old Twitter crew would have banned everybody and just like they did the laptop. Look at this. President Trump posted this yesterday. It's how much different things have gone up under Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. Listen to this. Gasoline is up 51%. Electricity is up 32%. Airfare is up 23%, and they're losing money. That's as low as it is because the planes are empty, so they're offering discounted rates. This is also, and he wrote here, since Kamala took office, okay? Rent since Kamala took office, up 22% nationwide. And here in Florida, it's higher. My daughter, rents are higher here in Florida than they are in California. Since Kamala took office, groceries overall are up 22%, but we really know it's really 50% or higher because things like eggs, since Kamala Harris took office, eggs are up 47%. Car insurance is up 54% since Kamala took office. I'm not sure what this means. K through 12 food, I guess that's the lunches in school. K through 12 food up 66%. That's school lunches. That's a struggle for a lot of people. A lot of people in this country are struggling. And you know, the thing about it is Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, they do not care about your suffering. They don't care about your suffering. You know, they care about South American suffering. Right? That's it. They just don't care about us. And that's one of the reasons so many Democrats are walking away. It's not so much that they've been red-pilled. A lot of them have, but they can see that the Democrats just don't care. They just don't care about Americans anymore. They care about South Americans. Yeah, this is even trending. Trump's return on X is trending. The Foo Fighters. You know, the Foo Fighters, I forgot about the Foo Fighters. They're giving Trump a hard time because he played their song at the rally with Bobby Kennedy the other night. Give me a break. I forgot about the Foo Fighters. They probably made a lot of money on downloads since Friday. They should be thanking Trump. He's made them relevant again. When's the last time anyone talked about the Foo Fighters? Right? Give me a break. J.D. Vance blames Kamala Harris for the migration crisis. This was on Meet the Press. Let me play this. I'm looking at what's trending on X right now.
So if you want to get control of the illegal immigration problem, you have to stop the bleeding. You have to stop so many people from coming here illegally in the first place. And that means undoing everything that Kamala Harris did practically on day one of the administration. You have to reimpose deportations. You have to stop catch and release. Stop granting asylum to every single person who comes in here and says that they need asylum, and stop granting mass parole. These policies are why we have the immigration crisis that we have. So I think focus on fixing the problem. Before we even fix the problem, we've got to stop the problem from getting worse. So
yeah, I mean, how can you disagree with that? How could anyone disagree with any of that? And this invasion that's going on is by design. And by the way, she still is the border czar, right? She still is the border czar. And I don't know what border she's protecting, but it's not the United States border. Are you kidding me? Yeah, that's right. By the way, welcome to my channel. If you're new, welcome. Welcome to the community. Now, the other night when President Trump was on the phone, let me see if I can pull this up. I wasn't going to play this, but let me see if I can pull this up. Hold on. If I can find it. Brett Baer and Martha McCallum were really rude to President Trump. Let me see if I can find it. No, that's when he... yeah, here it is. Okay, let me play some. This is Martha McCallum with Brett Baer. Martha McCallum has always hated Trump. She was a big never Trumper in the first campaign. Listen.
Two quick things as we wrap up here, Mr. President. Tomorrow, do you expect to be endorsed by Robert F. Kennedy Jr.?
Yes.
And are you making a specific effort in Georgia to make up, if you will, with the governor of Georgia, Brian Kemp?
Well, I just saw Brian on a very good man. Did you ever hear of a man named Sean Hannity? And he was interviewed by Sean Hannity. And he was very nice, and he said he wants Trump to win, and he's going to work with me 100%. And I think we're going to have a very good relationship with Brian Kemp. And that was on just before you people went on with that speech that we just listened to.
And RFK Jr.?
It just happened. And as far as RFK, I've had a great relationship with him over the years. I respect him. He respects me. I have no idea if he's going to endorse me. I know he's got a news conference. We happen to be in the same state. Arizona will be in the same state, but in quite different parts of the state. But it's possible we will be meeting tomorrow, and we'll be discussing it. He said, look, he was treated very unfairly by the Democrats. He would have beaten Joe Biden in a Democrat primary. I have no doubt about it. And they made it absolutely impossible for him. They made it that you have to get 60, 70% of the vote just to get in. And you know what?
President.
In the end, the Democrats did the same thing to Joe Biden. They threw Joe Biden out of the party.
And that's why we saw a different night
they did to RFK.
Mr. President, thank you so
very much, sir.
for the time.
Okay,
we appreciate
very
that
much.
live feedback.
Stay right there. Live edition of Gutfeld is coming up. Thank you so much for joining us from Chicago. It's been a great week.
Good night.
Okay, so they were very annoyed with Trump. They didn't like what he was saying. They're saying he called in. Well, President Trump, he posted this on Truth Social. I'm not sure if he put this on X, but he wrote this. Brett Baer of, this is President Trump on Truth Social. Brett Baer of Fox News called me. I didn't call him. Just prior to the Kamala convention speech, and asked me if I would like to critique her after she has finished. I agreed to do so. I thought it was nonspecific and weak, with no fracking, crime, inflation, or anything else of interest even mentioned. Delivery was a C+, with far too many and speedy thank yous at the beginning. It was weird. Likewise, I didn't call other media outlets. They asked me to go on. They called me. The fake news, like often guilted Maureen Dowd of the failing New York Times, wrote incorrectly that I was making the calls. Wrong, President Trump writes. I don't have to make calls to go on TV or anything else. They call me. It's called ratings, I guess. And I'm not. And I am the ratings machine. So they called him. They were rude to him. They called him. And I got to tell you, Gutfeld, I thought, was rude to President Trump, too. Don't you think? He was very dismissive, okay, of President Trump. And I've always liked Gutfeld, but he was, I didn't like how he treated him either. So President Trump was called by Gutfeld. He was called by Brett Baer. So they wanted him on. These people are pathetic, right? Yeah, they're not calling Kamala. Well, Kamala won't go on anywhere. What do you think Kamala will do after she loses? When she's no longer vice president, what will she end up doing? What would you think? Vice presidents fade away, and no one cares about them. What vice president can you think of? You know, there's some rare exceptions that amount to much of anything. Biden had a bit of a comeback here, which was a disaster. Write a book, go on the speaking tour. Maybe she'll run for governor of California when Gavin Newsom leaves. Who knows? What would you want to read? What could she possibly put in a book, Kamala Harris, that anyone would want to read? She'll try to get back in Congress. That would be humiliating. If she ran for the Senate again, that would be very humiliating. If the Democrats wanted her to be president and thought she had a chance, they would force Biden out and make her the president from now to the election day. But they haven't done it, have they? J.D. Vance is doing great. I mean, he's going on all these Sunday shows. He's done it the last few weeks. He goes into very hostile interviews and does incredibly well. I haven't seen a single instance where they've gotten the best of him in any of these interviews. And they won't. Even today, they were asking him about the childless cat lady. I mean, how many times are they going to go back to that well? He cleans the clock on it every single time. He's always, he's very smart. How do you think he got where he is? Look where he started. You can't be poorer than that in America. And look where he's at now. He's brilliant. Oh, no, Kamala, what a humiliating. Tim Walz now, he's in trouble when this is over. He's in big trouble. There'll be an investigation into him and his China ties. He is a very bad and dangerous dude, Tim Walz. Kamala, she'll just go back to California to nothingness. You may hear her occasionally talking on television, speaking at different groups. You know, the old dusty playbook they always go to, CR. That's right. That's what I was talking about earlier with Rush used to talk about that, and you see it. You know, the childless cat lady thing, he's not talking about women that don't have kids in general. He's talking about the women like Kamala who are running the country right now. And what he's talking about is these are women that are obsessed with one thing and one thing only, themselves and their own advancement here on Earth. They don't have kids, so they don't care how damaging their policies and ideas are because they don't care about the future. They have no legacy. They have no kids, right? And you don't want people that don't care about the future making decisions for the country. Do you? No, of course not. If they don't care about the future, how can they be making good decisions about the country? That's what he's talking about. He's not attacking people that don't have children. A lot of people don't have children. Oh, Walz. Walz is a disaster. I mean, he's been out there for, what, a month now? And there hasn't been a single news story about Walz that was positive. Everything has been negative. There's more out about him today. I haven't seen anything new today. But no, he has had not one single positive story. Has he? Did I miss any? You know, every story about him has been negative. Okay, Don Jr. tweeted yesterday. Oh, yeah, here's another lie. Okay, Don Jr. tweeted this 23 hours ago. Another lie from Stolen Valor Tim Walz. This loser claimed for decades he was selected to be part of a Harvard University teaching program. Only problem is he made it up. Wow. Yeah. Is there anything about this guy that's truthful?
This whole movement is about rightly saying we need to take a look at these budgets and figure out whether it reflects the right priority.
She's talking about defunding the police. Yeah, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And it's not only that they want to defund the police, which is stupid in general. Kamala Harris and these lunatic Democrats want to defund the police in the high crime areas of our country. That's beyond stupid. I mean, that's as dumb as it gets. No, there's I cannot think of a single positive news story that has come out about Tim Walz. Here's another one. Here's another one that just came out. Listen to this. This is on Tim Walz. Breaking. The lies just keep getting uncovered about Tim Walz. Back in 2006, he blatantly lied about receiving an award from the Nebraska Chamber of Commerce. Nothing about this guy is honest. He did not receive an award from them. Everything about him is a lie. Have you seen a single story about him or a single claim on his resume that was truthful? This is from this morning. This is Bartiromo on Fox. She's talking about whether or not Tim Walz has been groomed by the Chinese Communist Party.
Do you believe that the Communist Party has been grooming Tim Walz?
Oh, I think there's no question about it, Maria. It goes back to the exchange program that he ran and brought hundreds of students from the United States to China. In the early press accounts, Tim Walz describes it as unique and unusual and different, a program that nobody else has. And at the same time that he's bringing those students there, by the students' accounting, Tim Walz is saying things like, well, in China, nobody is poor because everybody shares in China, as if sort of the compulsive arm of the CCP is voluntary. I mean, sharing is voluntary. It's a ridiculous.
Oh, lost it. Hold on. Let me get it back. Oh, I lost the audio. I'm not sure what happened, but that was Peter Schweitzer with Bartiromo today. And Peter Schweitzer told Bartiromo there's no question that he's a Chinese asset. And that is something that is not going to go away when he loses this this campaign against President Trump and J.D. Vance. He's too bad of a dude. And the Chinese, you know, they've elevated him because they think when this is over, even if they lose, he'll be on the national stage. This is not going to be allowed to happen. And this is really frightening. Here's Tim Walz in his own words. Oh, hold on, I'm losing my audio for some reason. Nothing's playing. Oh well, I don't know why my audio's not playing now, but I'll get it fixed later. Now listen, guys, thanks for watching. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. Those of you that are already sub, like the video, all right? My name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, everyone.